And I don't know if Cody got the invite, but it's certainly, I know it's late. I'm all done with wrapping up for my businesses. So hopefully we can have a little longer session on live. Crypto market's going crazy, a lot of craziness going on. But, we really got to talk about this American dream because it is crazy. Right now, it is 11 o'clock where I am, 11:14. I am Central Time. So anytime I say a time, it's always going to be Central Time. So if you're not in the Central Time zone, just, try to just add or subtract however many hours it is. Okay, you're on the East Coast. So you're an hour ahead. Um, but glad to have you guys in here. Waiting for a little bit more people come in. It's the American dream has definitely been something that has been talked about a lot everywhere. And by all means, I would say my parents, myself, my grandparents, and even my great grandparents have had a great pursuit of the American dream. Now, what my grandparents, great grandparents, and my dad and my parents were able to facilitate was not the norm of everyone else. So it's open forum. I'm going to put the link to join in on the chat if you're on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. So feel free to join in at any time. Also, if you've been a follower with us, Cody has his own TikTok under Cody Harris. I think it's Cody Harris, or it might be under like Cody.eth. You can give him a follow. We really appreciate it. Help him get to 1,000 so he can join us on TikTok as well, instead of just you guys hearing them. So really great to have here. And I want to also say, really thankful for all your support. We've really been doing. I mean, we've been growing steadily ever since. So really appreciate you guys joining in. I know sometimes our topics are a little dry, although this one I think is going to be quite heated. So, but if anyone wants to come on live, you can hit that guest thing to request to join live on TikTok, or just come in, click the link on Restream in the chat on YouTube and Twitch, and we can join there. Our moderators probably will be joining in shortly. Really do appreciate that. For those of you who are new, my name is Sal. I'm the other half of Simply Investing with Cody and Sal. Cody's the one that got me into crypto. I'm getting him into stocks and real estate. We met because he used to work for my moving company as a salesperson, and we kind of grew after that, although sales wasn't exactly his gig at the time and he had to leave. But it goes to show you, like, friendships and new journeys can start from wherever. So never discount any networking relationship that you create at work or in like a hobby function or anything like that. But we are here. We're going to talk about the American dream. I'm going to talk about my opinion as from working on Wall Street side to working on the blue collar side to running businesses and things like that. So, and also keep in mind, we're going to do our morning market news. Shout out to Do Your Own Research. Glad to have you in here. And shout out to Reptile King. I want to say I love watching your lives and keep up the good work. Hey, we really appreciate that. We appreciate you guys too coming in, because this, we don't ask for any support other than like and subscribe. They're free. Click those, like, share if you'd like to share. If we're hitting a good topic, I think today's topic of why the American dream is crumbling away, or I shouldn't say crumbling, I should say evaporating out of our hands. Why is the American dream evaporating for so many people? Really want to get some people's feedback on this, and it's really open forum. So definitely, guys, if you want to join in, just feel free to shout out, let me know, come in. But we'll go ahead and start talking about some of the statistics and things leading into it. Now, my experience with the American dream, I had 0% student loans, so I can't relate to you guys on student loans and the 20-25% some or whatever the rates are on student loans. However, I had student loans. My car note was $199 for a Toyota Corolla with a five changer CD player and that goes to show you how old I am. But it had a five. The selling point was the 5 changer CD, the 5 disc CDs, so I could put 5 albums in. Shout out to Intentional. Thanks for joining in. Welcome in on the live. How do you define the American dream? Well, I define it as being able to pursue your pursuit of happiness, no matter what path that may be, as long as it does not harm anyone else, with financial freedom and a lack of big brother management. That's what I perceive will be what can I say is the American dream. That's what it is to me, is being able to live financially free, not have to worry, be able to provide for my family, and be able to have my kids be able to go out there and be able to do the same things that I have done. Now, with inflation, and I'm only 40. I don't look like it, but I'm only 40. I was born in 1983, and I've already can tell the inflation is crazy. The inflation is crazy, and we're not really seeing the real report. So, because like I have the report up here, they're saying that true inflation is like 3.7%. Shout out to Callie. X2, welcome in. Good morning to you too, buddy. Hope you're chasing that bag. I hope everyone's chasing that bag. But it's saying that it's 3.7%. Oh, it's no worries, Callie. It's no problem. It's because you're a good moderator and you've been a long time supporter. So every time you want to chime in, just chime in and we can have you on. It's no problem, buddy. I wanted to say, like, the American dream seems to be like slipping and evaporating, and it feels like, and what I can see out of the people that work for me is that they seem hopeless. Like when I was 20, I was going to turn 21, I was graduating from college. It was like, yes, the world is here. My life begins. Everything I want, I am going to get now. Everything I have. And for the most part, I have gotten most of the stuff that I wanted. I have a nice 8-figure net worth with the companies that I own. I have great business relationships. I can spend time with my family. I can take my parents out to wherever they want to go. Like the, my dad's dream house was in Hawaii. I know that we had the desire, but that's where my dad wanted his dream house his entire life, and I'm going to be able to provide that for him. Like that to me is like that's the American dream. We take care of family. We take care of each other. And I'm not saying I haven't had some hard licks. I started my career in finance under the dot-com boom bubble burst. I had a big setback in 2008. I've had a kind of small setback with one of the businesses I was doing really well in 2019, 2009, no, 2000, end of 2018. So it's been crazy. Shout out to Keisha. Welcome in. Glad to see that you're in here. So shout out to you. And keep in mind, everyone that's joining in, like and subscribe. It's free. Definitely. And it's open forum. So put your comments in. I'll try to get to everybody. If you want to come on live, certainly come on live. And shout out to Cali X2. It's getting harder and harder for everyone because incomes haven't risen for many, and that is true. And it no matter how we see it, there has to the bottom part of the labor, and I hate to say it this way, but they are people, and unfortunately, they're getting like marginalized off. The low income and the minority communities are being marginalized off, and it's unfortunate. Shout out to El Genti. Do you talk to your employees about investing? Some of them, if I talk general points, because we have an employer-employee relationship, so I don't really go much. Like I pay you a great wage. My average employee makes about $48,000 a year, not counting tips on my moving side. Average warehouse guy makes about $22 an hour. That's a start. Foreman makes about 28 an hour. Warehouse manager's salary, they get paid very well. And my salespeople get paid a 5% commission with a tiered salary, tiered sales bonus. Like I think the average salesperson hits around 60,000, but I had a couple people hit the $1 million club mark in their sales and made 150,000 in commissions this year. So I'm getting them a cruise. They've earned their $1 million cruise for next year. So we're gonna get that. I'm gonna get that for them. I always like doing fun rewards, and also I know we had a great year last year, but this year we'll still have a profitable year, but we're definitely going to be down from where we were last year, about 25% in revenues. So it is what it is, there's nothing you can do about it. Shout out to Keisha. Any stock, I'm guessing stock advice. I'm 53. So I don't think, I mean, if it depends on where you are, and definitely I would advise you because like I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a Series 7 licensed broker. So all I really did was trade securities and stocks. That uh with that said, the best thing right now, because you're kind of coming into the bottom, is really just invest. I'd go to Betterment first. Build that nest egg up first. I know you if you're 53, I mean, retirement's at 68, 69, 70. You got a little bit of time. I don't know what your career is there, Keisha, but you can still have a good shot at making it. But you might have to tighten up. I would really suggest getting I get a professional advisor for you. But he's probably going to say the same thing that I say, is that you should get a nest egg first before we start investing in individual stocks. Me personally, I'm invested in really recession stocks right now, mortgage and lending companies, banks, Walmart, Costco, department stores. I also got a little bit in Apple and Micro. Well, not a little bit. It's like I got pretty large sums in there. Shout out to Intentional. I do like that name. It's pretty clever there. Clever username. Uh, that was a hard hit. Yeah, my moving company was averaging 13 million in revenue over 6 sites. And now last year we did 13.5 million at the end of 2022. And this year it's looking like we're just about to hit 10 million. So we had a pretty big downturn in revenue, but our volume of sales was still up. Shout out to Tyler Davison. Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. Thanks for the support. Do you like Robinhood? I do like Robinhood for its simplicity, but don't get too wrapped up into it's designed like the gambling app platforms. So do be very careful. Don't do leverage things. Don't do that. But if you want to buy certain stocks and they can give you faster liquidity, it's a good thing for new people to get in. It's very simple, and they have little like training courses where you can get a little better. Shout out to El Ginty, blue chip stocks, AI stocks, or coin. My personal opinion. Definitely when we're coming to the bottom of the recession, in my opinion. So definitely, guys, if you're getting into those blue chip stocks or you want to spread it out over an ETF, those are the best ways to go. There are a couple AI stocks, but you're not going to see the gains on AI stocks for 10 years from now. If you're getting in crypto, excuse me, the blue chip stocks of the blue chip coins of Bitcoin and Ethereum always hold true. So do keep that in mind. And shout out to Keisha. Great. Glad that you like that. Glad to have you in here. Shout out to El Bibo 21. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. So I know that people have been talking about wage stagnation, and it's kind of hard to gauge because like when I worked at Walmart during college, I was making minimum wage, which is $4.85 an hour, and I think I was making like $400 every 2 weeks for 40 hours a week, and the next thing, like then my tutoring job was paying $15 an hour for tutoring, but that was at the college, and that was decent money. I was making a lot of money off that, so I was making about $40,000. I wasn't tutoring every day. I was tutoring like about 30 hours a week, but it came out to about like between 38 and 30,000 a year while I was working in college, and then using that to pay off my debts and my bills and my books and all that stuff. When I got out, it was so easy to just start because like I had paid off my student debt, so my credit was astronomically high, and then I was able to get a good loan on my car. I mean, $200 for a brand new Corolla, no money down. I mean, that's what I was walking into. And, I had that car with no interest for it was 6 years payments, no interest. Like it was crazy. And the car wasn't that expensive. I think it was like maybe 15,000 because I had power windows but no power seats. I know of a lot of you young people, it's weird to think of a power windows as an option, but that's how it was when I was 20 in the early 2000s. So power windows was an option, and so is power seats. I think power seats still are an option now. But so I have a car payment for 200. I went to go work. I was making about 45,000 to start, but by the end of the year, my salary got bumped up to 80,000. So I was able to afford to buy myself in my early 20s, pay off my debt, own my car, own a condo. I had a nice condo and was able to invest because I had my portfolios going from my personal choices, as well as I had 401ks and Roth IRAs that I was constantly putting money into. And I was able to write off my very little student interest that I was getting and get that back on as taxes. And so it's crazy that I can't now that I talk to some of these young people, it's like, well, I'm paying you $50,000 now to do some of these entry level jobs, and the rent is like almost half of what they have. Now, granted, some of them I told them like you don't have to have a luxury apartment. You can go get a standard apartment. But it's crazy how much things have changed because I was able to afford to have a mortgage, a car note, pay off my student loan debts, and have plenty of money extra to travel and do all those things. Even take road trips. I mean, filling up my tank was bucks. Like when I started driving, it was 85 cents a gallon. Yeah, I think it was 19. Was it 20? Yeah, 1996 was when I started driving at 16. Uh, Shout out to Intentional. I'm into crypto, and yeah, this is probably gonna be the last big bull run for crypto. Last biggest earning potential for crypto on this bull run. Shout out to Tyler Davison. Is it better to put all in S&P 500 Vanguard index because I put in bond at 4%? Now bond pays more. Bonds will pay more because the interest is rising, but with the current scenario, bonds, you're buying government debt with bonds, or you're buying corporate debt with those bonds. It's some type of ratio. Me personally, I'm staying away from bonds, and I'm just buying companies that have value in production of what they're doing. That's what I'm doing for it. And I'm not really changing my pace or any direction on that. I'm just steadily dollar cost averaging in. But Vanguard indexes and the Vanguard S&P 500 index is probably one of the best you can get into. I think overall is up like 1,300% in the last 10 years. So it's definitely a good thing. Shout out to Intentional. Even AC was an option. Yes, even air conditioning was a option. I know it's hard for a lot of younger people to realize that. Shout out to Cali X2. One problem: corporations' number one goal is to make profits, which means cut costs and appease shareholders. I have a good thing about corporations. Now, corporations have like there's stages to it because they're all about the customer and the customer experience and the user experience and the employee experience when it's the original founder. When the founder's in it, it stays on that course. But once the founder exit out and we get like shareholders, we get upper management and things like that, CEOs, presidents, vice presidents, things like that. That's where we shift from they have to adhere to their fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. So, and they're looking at the business as just a number sheet, and it's expand the profits while lowering the costs. And then unfortunately, a lot of people at that level, they don't view any of you guys as a person. They don't even view you as a resource. They view you as just like the best way to put it is that they view you as a disposable napkin. I get you, I have you ready when I need you, I use you, and then they spit you out. So, and how that happens is because the best of the best are no longer there. So what you have are people that know how to play corporate politics, and that's where cost cutting, things like that happen, and where we start to see businesses don't treat their employees right anymore. So just like if I build up my moving company, it grows really huge, it becomes a national brand, and then I pass away, and let's just say my kids don't want anything to do with it. So now you're hiring a board, you're hiring all these other people. Well, they're only in it to make profit at that point. So they're just going to do whatever it takes to make as much profit as possible. And if someone buys the business from me, their sole focus is getting money back and making money. That's it. So I see where I can see where it's coming from on both sides. I've been on both sides. I've been a cog in a big corporation, but I've also held a high level management job at Radio Shack, and can tell you that that we're that we are having that there are people just like that. It's hard for me to describe it, and I'm stumbling on my words, but it is like that's just how corporations come to be. And then eventually what happens is usually second generation, the corporation collapses. So like all the big corporations we take for granted now, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, all those companies, because they're in stage two of long-term business after the founder. So they're in next generation stage two. Generation three, we only have one, two, three companies that made Generation 3. That's Coca-Cola, American Express. Sorry about that. Just getting some spam calls. Um, We have American Express. We have American Express, Procter and Gamble, and Coca-Cola. Those are one of the few longest standing companies that are in Generation 3. And it's just ridiculous. It's very hard to get to that level, but they didn't suffer the corporate environment structure from the 60s to the 2000s, if that makes sense. Shout out to do your own research. People are costs. People are costs. Um, the people are costs, and that's absolutely true. I mean, everyone's looking at you like a dollar network. Sorry, these calls are, I guess I can't just mute it. They are definitely not viewing them as a craziness there. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to give her a call in a little bit. Uh, so people view them as costs, as just cost to a balance sheet. Shout out to Legenti, the CEO for the Dollar General, paid himself millions while the employees didn't get a raise. Yeah, I heard about that. Dollar General's been keeping their guys at minimum wage and even worse. I know Cody's in here, so shout out to Cody. You can probably will chime in when he's ready about his view on the American dream and everything. Corporate CEOs and VPs make too much money. There's a disparity between CEO and worker. There is. There is. And now I would say, now if you're talking about founder and their workers for them, it's hard to say because as a founder, like you go through that 4-year period where it's like my hair has thinned, you're stressed, your credit gets blown up, everything gets blown up at once, you're out of money, you're out of time. It's like every day is a hassle. You wake up and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do this? I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Now, a lot of CEOs, once you get up to that level, after like after the founder generation and you get into the second generation part of the company, most of them are really just meetings, 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 meetings. They're not doing a lot. Shout out to El Ginti. My old Amazon boss used to refer to his employees as cattle. Yeah, that's definitely like an 80s term. When I worked in the 90s at Walmart, and I'll never forget this. I worked at Walmart and we were busting our butt doing this floor change. I mean, we were moving racks, we were moving everything around. Just imagine a whole floor change of an entire. Now, Walmarts were smaller back then. There was no super centers yet. They were just coming in like 2005. I wasn't there in 2000. I was there in the late 90s and early 2000s. So we would do the floor change. So we moved the case, like they would move like women's jewelry from one side to the other. And they didn't have produce at that time. Thank God. I don't know how I would have handled it with produce. But yeah, I'll never forget this. Raises were your quarterly assessment for your raise was in August, and we just got done doing all the floor moves. We're working hard. We worked hard all summer trying to get the store ready. And this guy, he's been with Walmart for 10 years, 10 years. And Walmart gave him a 4% raise. Not 4%, I'm sorry, 4-cent raise. Not even a nickel per hour, a 4-cent raise. I was in shock, as in, I was 19 at the time. So I got 19 energy and mentality. So I'm like, that's all right. We should blah, 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 blah. And I wanted to go off, but the guy just said, okay, took his stuff and he walked out the door. And now as I'm older, I see that's probably the best way to do it. Just pack your things, walk out, let it go, walk on something better. But I've heard in the 90s and early 2000s, a lot of people refer to cattle. Even early 2010s, when I was like a mid-level executive, I was a like an area manager. I wasn't like, there was a divisional vice president, which was my boss. There was an area vice president, which was my second boss. Then there was me. Then the area managers, district managers, and then the loss prevention managers and store managers and so on, right? So no one gave a shit. No one even cared. And it sucks, but it just was what the time was. But a lot of management, especially upper management, have a lot of disdain for you guys because they feel like the everybody at the bottom doesn't work hard enough. Now, I will say this, and I have experienced this building a business. This was 2019, right? So my moving company is a year into business. Things were going okay. I had enough money to pay my bills and all my people, but for myself, I was starving. I was going from like 500 pounds and I was dropping weight real fast, right? So I was exhausted, I was tired, I was irritable, and now I can only imagine when you don't own the business and you're constantly working for yourself, working for someone else, and you're constantly helping them. I've seen several of my competitors do the same thing, where they use them to finance the lifestyle, and then they go out. And unfortunately, you do get you some places you do feel like you get used a lot. So like that term, I don't think I've heard it from people nowadays, but definitely 10, 15 years ago, I've definitely heard a lot of people refer to their employees as cattle or numbers, or I've heard one lady call her workers, her like 21,000 people that worked for her, material to get the revenue in. I was like, oh my goodness, that's not the word you want to use for people. But so I do see more people coming in. Just gonna let you guys know it's open forum. Send your requests to join on TikTok or come join us live on YouTube or Twitch. Link is in the chat. Definitely want to talk about how you feel about the American dream. Give me some of your opinions. And also like and share. It's free. And definitely go to the bio and go to our YouTube page and give us a subscribe, because we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 3,000 on TikTok. So I can then merge this all together, because it'll give me that nice little link so I can merge everything together. And then give us some likes and follows here too. It really helps. Shout out to do your own research. Americans are short-sighted at this point. Oh yes, consumerism has gotten us, and that kind of goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about, because I think it's part of destroying the American dream, is that we have the lower income classes, and along with minority groups, have been targeted with financial scams relentlessly over the last 5 years. I can't tell you how many real estate scams, crypto scams, stock scams, investment scams, loaning scams, business scams that have been there and just been sucking people up. Sucking people up. And it's unfortunate, because if you lose your nest egg in your late 50s, early 60s, it's over. It's they might as well have deleted your life, because financially your life is done. It's going to be very hard for you to recoup that at a time when your body is declining. Shout out to intentional individuals need to realize there are more options now for employers to change careers. There are way more options now, but however, I advise against career hopping. The reason why I advise against career hopping, and now if it's a terrible place to work, you really feel like you can't excel anymore, then go find a new thing. When I left Walmart, I went to food, and I left food in 2 years and said that's not for me. Then I went into finance, then left finance and went to Radio Shack in 2009, and then was there till pretty much the end of Radio Shack, and then I started my businesses. So I seem to have went into something new every time. But the reason why I say you don't want to switch jobs a lot too much is because you definitely don't want to do it like every year, because then employers are going to look at that and say, well, I don't want to invest money and time into you, because you're just going to bounce when the next bigger opportunity comes. So they bounce out. What I do say is find a job, especially if you're young, if you're 20s, in your 20s, find a job that you can tolerate, that pays decent enough, live frugally for you from 20 to 30 or for 10 years, Save your money, invest into other streams. And Callie is right. Try to find new income streams because one is not enough, even if your salary is decent. Yes, even myself as a business owner, I have multiple streams. I have my dividend portfolio, I have my stock investments, I have my Class A stocks, private equity investments. I also have real estate, and I have multiple different businesses I'm invested in that I have ownership in that are giving me different avenues of wealth. So, and trust me, it took 15 years to build that. It didn't come overnight. It took 15 years. One, a lot of it was mostly me taking my high earning jobs and funneling into good investments and then being able to start a business when I left the furniture company I was working for, and I didn't like working for them, but they paid very well. When I left, I wasn't good. I could have retired. I could have just said, "Tired, backpack around the world, do whatever I want to do." But I wanted to start businesses. So in 2000, it was 2017. I went and I started, my own business and stuff. So I definitely say you want to make sure you have a side hustle while you're doing it, or just something that you can earn extra money on, or work two jobs and save that, get that income revenue going for 10 years, and then you can start doing other things and ease up and maybe leave the job you don't like. Shout out to William. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. Glad to have you in here. Uh, so back to about the American dream. It seems like the American dream has changed, and I think it's become more personal than and more consumeristic and materialistic based than it was with my parents' generation. They wanted to what I say their American dream was get the house, have the family, live comfortably. That was it. My my age group was strive to be the best. Just get there. Strive to be the best, be wealthy, but if we're not wealthy, hey, at least we're financially secure and have a family and enjoy life and do all the normal things that you do in life, right? I'm seeing now between 20 and 30, it's get the bag by any means necessary, trust only yourself, your stuff matters, no one else does, things like that. And unfortunately, that only leads to ruination. And you know, you never know what relationships you make along the way, especially with work, because you never know if you're 22, you're working at Walmart, and the person next to you at Walmart is getting ready to start the next businesses, which is going to change the world. You never know who's going to do that. So just keep your networks open. Don't burn any bridges, things like that. Shout out to William. You're welcome. Good info. Just sitting back, listening. Glad to have you in, and thank you for that support. Shout out to Faded Maestro. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate your support on the live. Defense stocks this week. Yeah, defense stocks are probably gonna make a little bit of money with all the conflicts going on in the world. But even still, this is one of the quietest times ever. I don't know if there's any of the old heads 40 and up in the chat here still, but I remember the air raid sirens and practicing walking to the bomb shelters and stuff like that while we were scared of the Soviet Union and uh, pretty much coming over and doing their thing. So, and that was a big scare for a long time. That was just a big scare. Shout out to P. Dilly. Glad to have you in here. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate your support. Shout out to Derek. How old are you? Born 1983. So I'll be 40 in 3 weeks. I'll be 40 in 3 weeks. I'm 39 right now. And I know, don't look it, but I was born in 1983. There you go. Glad to see you too. You're part of me, Derek, and we're part of the last age group that remembers when we didn't have internet, phone growing up. You went and played outside with your toys, and then when the internet and stuff came around when we were older, video games. Like I remember when the PS1 came out, I was going into high school. I was like, God damn, like that's like ridiculous. Like I was sophomore year of high school, I think it was. Yeah, it was like I can't believe, and like to see how far they've come. Because I remember I wanted a PlayStation and I wanted the Jaguar 64, the Atari Jaguar. I wanted that sucker, and I had a Nintendo 64 at the time. So it was definitely. I was like, man, things have definitely changed so much for you guys. And a lot of younger people don't understand how much you had to work on talking to people, your people skills. Yep, I still remember dial up to El Ginty, just the it's like, man, it's I can still hear the AOL ring ring, and if someone picked up the phone, they kicked you off the internet, so it was all fun. I remember my dad got tired of that, and he got a second line just so one of us could be on the internet and one of us could be on the phone. But I also remember at times, you had to memorize people's phone numbers, you had to call them, you had to do a lot of fun, a lot of crazy stuff. Nowadays, it's like it's hard for a lot of us to really exist without our smartphones. And that's part of the inflation and the loss of the American dream, too, is that we're so attached to the virtual world that we look at other people's success. And I'm guilty of this too. I look at some people in business that started around my time. I look at other people. I see other people online. I'm like, man, they're succeeding so much better than me. I got to work harder and join that level, and not realizing that and forgetting that I have to work at my success is at my pace, and it's not, and my success isn't for everyone. It's just for me. And it's the same thing with all you guys. Your success is just for you, and it's going to come at the rate that it's going to come at. And you just got to be patient and just keep slowly working until you do that. Shout out to Cali X2. Yeah, if someone picked up the phone, the internet went out. Shout out to El Genti. Technology got smarter and we got lazier and dumber. Yeah, I mean, your cell phone has access to all of the knowledge in human history. And it's crazy because like I've learned more. Like now I've learned stuff from my dad, like spackling walls, laying down tile and flooring because he did it all himself. Cooking, grilling meat, butchering, also like yard work, like how to mow a lawn, how to fix the mower, how to remove a stump, how to put in fence posts, because that's what he did. And that's how he saved money, and that's how he made money too. When he was off during the summer as a teacher, he would like during August he would go around and do handyman work and stuff like that. um and nowadays, like, people just use their phone to look at other people's lives, and it's crazy. Shout out to Derek. I'm jealous of how rich you are at the same age. It's it's not that I don't think I'm that wealthy, but I'll go over it for you guys. Let me pull up I gotta pull up my Excel here because I have to update it this Sunday. So tomorrow I'll update it. But I do have my net worth down here. So this is based off of actual assets, and then I have my theoretical net worth if I sold all my ownership in all the businesses, or sold the businesses that I have 100% ownership in. So my total net worth after all the mortgages on all my rental properties and crypto, my Wealthfront and Betterment account, my crypto account, and my dividend portfolio, and of course what I estimate, they're really not part of it, but they're not that much anyway compared to everything else, but private equity ownership of some class A stocks. Net worth is right here. Total value of my net worth is just a little over 14 million right now. My theoretical net worth, because I can sell my ownership in the construction company for quite a bit, for almost mid eight figures. Moving company, they say it's net. Well, this was as of beginning of this year, so I'm sure the valuation of my moving company has dropped since revenue dropped 3.5 million on my moving company, just because the whole market's down. And then my logistics company, the contracts I have, about 6 million. So we're looking at total, if I just liquidated and sold everything as of right now, like 52 million. But a lot of that isn't realized. Like, I don't think I can get that proposed value, what my accountant says, on my construction company, because I don't think anyone's going to value a business that high right now in the market. And I would not value a business at mid eight figures right now. I wouldn't even buy a business at mid eight figures. But let me tell you something, I still cannot compete with the real estate market and stuff, I just don't have enough cash to do it. I have liquid cash sitting around pretty well, but that's getting eaten up in well, my cost of living is rising. That's my own dumbass fault for that. So I bought 2 new cars. I bought a house for myself, and I'm buying another house for myself down in Dallas. And we're also, I'm about ready to add in a $5 million mortgage for a distribution center down in Dallas. So the valuation on the logistics company is going to change as we got to take out that liabilities, things like that. But Derek, don't, like, this is where I say your success is yours, because $2.2 million right now. Let me tell you something, Derek, and I want you to take this right to heart. And don't feel like you have failed. Don't feel like you're suffering. Don't feel like you're anything else, because you have definitely made it. I know I have a lot of my ex-girlfriends are not even close to that level. They don't even have any money. A lot of people that work for me that are my age or older don't even have that money. Most of these people don't even have a house to call their home. They don't even have a mortgage for that. $2.2 million at that age, you got a little bit of financial security. Now, granted, you might like your job. You might feel like your job is, it's getting you there, and that's totally up to your decision. But Derek, like everyone else is, hold on one second, guys, here. But Derek, don't feel like that is what you're looking for. Sorry, do you mind waiting a little bit?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, yeah, I'll get your interview for those drop out you.
Oh,
That's
you're
okay.
good. All right, sorry about that.
Folks, I forgot I had an interview today for a guy, so I guess we're going to be making this a little quick here. So yeah, I did see some up there. Shout out to Intentional. Don't think we're getting lazy. We're the younger generation just finding better way of doing things. I do appreciate it. It definitely was a lot of hard work. I basically had to go, like I said, it was like I was like I call it, people will say it was monk mode, but it was really box mode. I put myself into a box and I just started working, and I didn't really pick up and pay attention to what people are doing. It's crazy. Um, Thank you, CaliX2. Awesome job. It's been a hard work, and a lot of it is really attributed to my parents giving me a good mindset, and also they did steer me clear of some bad folks there. Shout out to Intentional. I don't have that, and I have 4 houses and 2 paid off. It's really just a lot of what I do is really ambition. You got to remember, guys, I'm a single guy with no relationship, no kids. So my risk tolerance and the ability to generate a lot of pressure on risk is really ridiculously high. And I'm willing to make larger bets that could pay off. Now, I've lost money. I've lost, like, overall, my crypto accounts have lost probably about $400,000. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Yeah, we got to get to 1,000 subscribers to be able to super chat. But I do appreciate you, buddy. If you want to do some support, I do know we will need to get an editor. So you can join us on Patreon, because we are going to be, I'm doing the editing myself and I'm learning a lot from it. So, but we will have those interviews on Patreon soon with other business owners in my network and these guys got phenomenal net worths. We're talking like 100 million, 200 million. One guy is 900 million. I mean, one guy could spend what my net worth is and not even blink. So it's crazy. And for Intentional, what I have is, and that's because I'm also a banker. And like I said, don't neglect any relationships as you traverse the path of life. Is I network with everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I build contacts and everything. So like the people that lend me money at JP Morgan, we both started as private bankers. And now he's a executive vice president at one of the levels, one of the regions, and so he can just rubber stamp my if I say, hey, I want to get this expedited, what do I need to do? He's like, okay, well, just give us about this much collateral and we'll put it into a CD. I'm like, great, done. And that's how it works. Shout out to Derek. I own a couple of small businesses, and hey, Derek, those businesses could skyrocket. So, but once you stabilize your service businesses, I would definitely recommend dabbling in some real estate, because keeps me that's what really keeps things afloat, is the equity and the consistent revenue. And if you do like I do, you buy starter homes. No one wants those. They're not Instagram worthy, so they're good options to get, and you can rent them out at low rents and keep good tenants. Shout out to El Genti. Most people our age are in debt. 2.2 million is great. Yeah, exactly. Most people, average 39, average 30-year-old person in their 30s is somewhere around, I think, $80,000 in debt, and that's between mortgages, house, no, not the mortgage. I'm sorry, student loan debt, cars, and credit cards. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Really appreciate your support there. And hey, you guys go to his channel too, like and follow him on TikTok and YouTube. He does a lot of great work there too. And he's one of our great moderators and great supporters. So really, really shout out to him. Give him some applause. I know that we want to give him as much support as he can, because he does have an interesting take on a lot of cryptos, as well as he's definitely forging his path. And just like I said, and just like I told him many months ago, all of our paths are different. Sometimes it's a little harder than we want than some other people's, but you keep living the dream. If you keep working, I know you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, but eventually you will get there. But I really appreciate you joining in on this live Crypto Dream. And if any of you guys want to come in, shout out, do a lot of give your opinion on the American dream, definitely join us live, or on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Twitch, or come on here on TikTok and give us a shout out here, or to come on in and join the live and give us your opinion. Oh man. So like the part of, like, I think the college dream kind of became part of the reason why we're also struggling a little bit, not just with student loan debt, but also, like, I got my degree in uh, economics, and then I got a minor in mathematics. That was it. And I did a lot of finance courses, and I was lucky. The financial and economics advisor was a successful stockbroker. So he taught everything to us, and we did scenarios, we did all sorts of things, trading scenario, and this was like new, and he created a whole lab in it. Shout out to Intentional. Mine is a business with the MBA. Now you're one step ahead of me. I only got a bachelor's. I never went more than that, but you don't have to unless you want to. Some management positions require you to have an MBA. So if you guys are looking to get an MBA, make sure you go to the right school. I'd recommend doing a state school, because an MBA is an MBA, unless if you're getting invited to like Yale, Harvard, Cornell, or Princeton University. I would recommend taking those, because going to a top tier school definitely changes people's perspective about you. It really does. It really does. And if you have that advantage to do it, do it. Now, I'm the only one in my family that did not go to an Ivy League school. My brother did, my mom did, my dad did, my grandpa did, my great grandpa did, my dad. Let's see here. Okay, and my aunts went there. So my grandpa went to Princeton. My mom went to Princeton. My dad went to MIT. The other one she went to Cornell for nursing. That was my other aunt. And the other one went to Stanford. That's where they went. That's where at least all the people I know of. Now my grandma on my mom's side went to a good had a good start. She went to Yale's, but she went to the women's program at the time, which was like kind of like her parents kind of paid her way into their. I mean, this was the early 1900s, so we're not going to go down that wrath of politics. Um, so shout out, and you're probably the most financially successful. Um, I would say if it wasn't for the Great Depression, my grandpa probably would have been. He owned his own architectural firm. My dad wasn't really business focused. My mom was definitely very. Uh, I'm about the same as my mom. My mom had a net worth when she retired at 40 of 15 million. So, and my dad had 4 million as a teacher, but he invested a lot of money. I mean, he got in at the right time at IBM and Microsoft and just held till he retired. So, I mean, you do the math on all those splits and everything. Um, Born on third base, yeah, pretty much. Like I've been born into. That's where I say like I can give you the relation of the American dream from someone who has lived an upper class lifestyle. I've definitely had my trial and tribulations, but nowhere near some people out there. So I will not say that I've not gone without food for 2 weeks. I definitely have not done that. But I have been, running my moving company and going without food for a couple days, mostly because sometimes you overwork your body physically, you get too tired to even eat. But yeah, I got born on a very good start. And what my parents did was they sat me down, said, "This is how money works. This is how relationship works. This is how things work." And I got a crash course in it. But however, I didn't really go outside and play. Like my when I was a kid, I went to summer camps. But when I was like a teenager, I was in SAT prep classes. I was taking algebra in the summer, calculus in the summer, AP chemistry in the summer. I was taking college courses in the summer. Like I didn't really have a childhood. And so I felt a little awkward when I went to college because now I'm away from my parents and I didn't really interact with anyone outside of a classroom. So I'm in a dorm. I didn't know how to interact with people. So I felt a little thrown off there. But I went to a small school. Granted, they were like a tier 2 school. They're very hard to get into. You had to take an assessment to get in there. Shout out to Intentional. You have a blessed day as well. Thanks for all your support. Really appreciate you joining in live. And don't forget to give us a follow there. And I hope to see you on the next live. Shout out to Do Your Own Research, Smart Family. Like I said, I feel like I'm the dumbest in my family. And it's probably true. Definitely dumbest when it comes to the IQ points. And a lot of what I learned, finances and success, is attributed to people older than me because I only mimicked what they did. I didn't really figure this out on my own. I just mimicked what they did, and I had the ability to ask questions. Now, I will say this because my family put me in such a great position, I wasn't hungry, so I couldn't. That hunger wasn't blinding me. And people forget that. I know a lot of people right now tell young people, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, get yourself in there, work hard. And it's like, yes, you do have to work hard. And unfortunately, I have to work harder than my parents to get to where they were. And my kids, when I have them, will have to work even harder to get that. They'll have to work even harder to get to where I am. But our family always believed we have kids, and our responsibility to our kids is to put them in a better position than where we were. But let me tell you something. My parents did not buy me a car. Now, they helped me negotiate the car, and walk me through the first sales process. But I bought my first car. Like in high school, I had no car. College, I had no car. I had to walk. So like, that was the thing. And now I'm so big, I should be walking anyway. Shout out to Derek. Appreciate the humility. Some people are born on third and pretend like they hit a home run. No, I'm like leisurely walking to home base. It's more like the bases were loaded and the fourth person up the bat is walking. So like it's like it has not been hard. It's been hard running a business. I will not discredit that. Any business, no matter where you are financially, is hard to do. But as far as like me growing up, and no, I had a very privileged life. I'll be the first to admit I'm a mixed kid. Now I experienced my, back in the late '90s, mixed guys weren't everyone, cup of tea. So dating kind of sucked in high school. But then I didn't really date much because I was so worried about making sure I did well on SATs because at the time I felt like I was a failure if I didn't get into an Ivy League school. And I felt all this pressure. So I was like, man, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm too stupid. I'm not getting it. So I took extra classes. I took extra things because I always felt like I was the dumbest rock in the group. So that's just me. Um, but I appreciate your support there. I can only give you how I feel. Shout out to Crypto Dream. I'm about to switch back to days. I'll be seeing more of your content. Well, glad to have you in here. I hope you get some rest there, Crypto Dream. I know you're hustling. We're all hustling for that dream, but you definitely deserve it with where you want to go. Shout out to Kiki. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate you having you in here. Thanks for the support. El Genti, I'm 33 years old and I'm trying to get a second job. I just so I can invest more. Hey, that's exactly what Cody did. And there's a lot of gas stations out there that will appreciate you working 4 or 5 hours from like 6 to 11. There's a lot of retail jobs that will appreciate that effort in there. And I definitely recommend going in there. With that said, part like back to what I was talking about, like part of my American dream was like I've already was there. Like my mom was driving a Jaguar. She had her day car. My dad had his day little, even though it was old, it was a little 1979 Toyota pickup truck. But he had a nice Volvo sports car. So like my high school, like the summer when both my brother and I did really well. We went to go see our family in Italy. We traveled Europe. Then we came back, and in August, my parents took us all to Hawaii. Then we like the summer before that, I spent a month on the road, with my parents as they went to go see the Northwest, like Oregon, Washington, all the state parks, all that fun stuff. Spent time in where else did we go? We spent time in South Africa, Japan. Uh, we always go to Europe because my dad's Italian, so we always go to Europe. Um, Spent a little time in Toronto. I don't really consider that traveling. And we did go to Alaska, and we did go to Brazil. To even though I hate it, I hate it. I'm not a nature person. My mom went there just for the rainforest, and she paid for like this like 3-day hike in the rainforest and separate tents and stuff. I hated it. I was done with it when I found a huge spider in my thing. Um, to see the northern lights, I did not. I went there when it was sunny, so it's like I didn't really see them. But I would love to go back to Alaska and see the northern lights at some point. That's kind of one of the things I'm putting on my bucket list now that I'm getting to that point. And I do apologize. I got an interview in a little bit, so I'm gonna cut this off a little bit. Really appreciate you guys joining in. Let's go through any questions. Oh, shout out to Crypto Dream. I just saw your post there. Did I recover from sending that crypto? Yes, I did. So shout out to Uphold. They did give me my $30,000 back in XRP. Although honestly, I'm not hurt for the loss, but I'd be really, really pissed off if I accidentally sent it to a whale's wallet. Be really pissed off. Now, if I sent it to someone and they got out of debt, put food on the table, I'd be like, look, keep it, buddy. Just keep it at that point. Cause it's my mistake. I won't make the mistake again, but that's something I would say, just keep it. But if it went to someone who already had like a net worth like mine, I'd be like, bro, give that shit back. It's like, you don't need it. Give it back. If it went to someone who was like, man, this is life-changing money, I would have just told him, just keep it in there. But it really just found out, just went to Uphold's main wallet, so it wasn't accounted for. So it was quick and easy for them. So, shout out to Saucy Nips, love the name. Thanks for the follow. Shout out to Callie. Let me give you my wallet address, LOL. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm seeing what I can do because I want to do a charity where I can give away. I'm already doing a charity where I'm matching my food drive for this Thanksgiving and Christmas from all my moving and logistics companies. So any customers that want to donate food, I will match it. And I just like going to the the shelter and doing cooking during Thanksgiving. I always go to a shelter and cook during Thanksgiving in the morning. Right, it's cooking the chickens, cooking the meal, the potatoes and everything, and just kind of because like I don't have kids, but my mom's got some great recipes. So I like her potatoes, her yams, the way she cooks chicken is amazing. So I try to give that to everybody. Good. Is that so? Shout out to Saucy Nips. I hope I got it. I'm sure. Like I've been seeing some people messing up on where they're sending the money. Shout out to Saucy Nips. Seems like you're a genuine person. Have a great day. Good luck with the interview. Yeah. Oh, it actually looks like he drove off, so he'll probably be back in a little bit or not. I mean, it was kind of a hard. It's kind of a hard thing to tell him because I was gonna have to tell him like we're full. Like we lost a lot of revenue, and it's like I just can't make space for me. I'm a bleeding heart. Like you come in, and I can see that it's hard. You really need this job. It's like so I'll probably give in even when I shouldn't. But like business wise, like it's getting to the point like I gotta start. I'm trying not to cut people. I'm cutting from my vendors. Well, not vendors, but I'm cutting from my costs. Like, do I really need to get this extra warehouse? Nope, cut it. If I have to sell a property, I'll sell it first before I dip into cutting people. Um, I didn't dip pay. Hopefully, knock on wood. I'm not trying to dip pay, but sometimes your business volume drops so much, but we haven't dropped that much. I've heard my competitors drop significantly. Um, Get that one sour pin there. Shout out to oops, not pin. I don't think I want to do that. I wanted to like it. Oh, I can't like it. Oh well. But hey, thank you, Crypto Dream. Always always pleasant to be with you. I hope we can chat sometime. I know you got a lot of you guys got families and stuff, so your time is off from mine. Shout out to Callie. Giving to charity is important. It helps both the giver and the receipt. Trust me, when you give people food, because I like to give food, because I've been without food for one day and it sucked. I'm dieting right now and it sucks. So I understand it sucks when you have no money and no food. It's soul crushing. And when life's getting you down. So there's nothing like cooking a home cooked meal for someone. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like I don't care what anyone says. People always say no, you can give, but you're never really giving. It's like, look, I give the food and then I cook the food for you. And watching someone's face light up when you get that nice, savory, warm bite of food, and you can see it warming their soul. I find that's the best thing in life. Or when I give my guys bonus checks, like last year, I gave one guy and he really needed it. He was paying off a lot of debts. He's divorced. He's going through the ringer, but he did a phenomenal job. He did $1.2 million in sales for me, for my moving company. So I gave him a check for $50,000. Like he already earned $150,000 off commission. And I mean, we're a tight profit budget. We're like about 8 cents on the dollar profit overall. But he hustled, gave him that $50,000 check. And we were retiring a work truck, which was only had like 80,000 miles on it. We gave that to him as a write off. Like it was his. I mean, it's not the greatest work truck, but he really needed a vehicle. He has no payments now, so he's doing well. And I really think like doing that type of stuff is like if I can afford a Rolls Royce, everyone that helped me should at least be able to sit at the same damn table and eat the same damn food I'm eating. Because if I can eat steak, every person that worked for me better be eating steak. If not, I'm going to get you a steak and we're going to cook it right for you. The keyword, cook it right. But I believe in that we should share it. But I also believe it's my job as the owner to husband the business and make sure that there's money there for you guys to get paid. That's how I view it. And I always try to keep reserves. I'm trying to get to 10-year mark on reserves. I don't think I'll get there anytime soon, but it'd be amazing to have 10 years of reserves for my business. And I'm not even paying myself. Freaking like I cut my salary. Like as soon as we found that we're going to be $3 million down, I cut my salary. So I don't even pay myself. Shout out to Felicia Marshall. Glad to have you in. Welcome in. Glad to see you on the live. What type of investing are you doing? You doing first time on? Well, great to have you. Really appreciate your support there. Our first time, my investing is stocks, crypto, real estate, private equity, and businesses, and now other people's businesses. And shout out to Felicia Marshall. Thank you for the follow. However, how I really got my start was when I was working for other people. I was taking a lot of the money and investing in the stocks and everything. Then when I started a business, I started investing more into stocks, individual stocks again. And then I started investing in real estate. Like 2022, I started investing in real estate. Like I had 2 rental properties in Florida going into building this company, but then I have I have 147 doors now, and I'm hoping I get higher. So like I'm investing in everything, but you got to start in one spot. And where I started one spot, Felicia, is that I started in stocks, mainly just Betterment. Betterment is, and I'm not a paid supporter of Betterment. I'm not a paid supporter. I've used them since they came about. I think like 2012, I think it was, or 2013. But I just been funneling money into it, and they do great. If you ever move from job to job, they'll take your old 401k and put it in there tax free. So just keep that in mind. I'm not a paid shiller of it. I just put I have $1.7 million with them, and I have about $1 million with Wealthfront, and that was over my 15 years of working. But keep in mind, like my average earnings was 192,000 per year because I had some really good executive jobs. I had sales commission jobs. Shout out to Joey Vay. Glad to have you on here. Welcome in. Glad to have your support. XRP to the moon. Yeah, we could discuss all that tomorrow on what's in your portfolio as we go over your stock picks and my stock picks and crypto picks and everything. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm holding XRP definitely. Shout out to Joey V, bro. I hope you make 100 million. I hope so. But knowing my luck, because I have some good luck, but I have a lot of bad luck. My luck will be I'll have 1 million when 100 million is not worth anything. So, but it always seems like I can't get the next. I'm being blocked out by people who are worth more than me because they're buying more of what I want to join in and buy. But it's only a matter of time. They can't buy it all. They can't buy it all. That's how I view it. And there's enough for everybody. Shout out to Applauser. I hope I got that right. Thanks for joining in. And do you invest in crypto? And thanks for the follow, by the way. I really appreciate your support. I do invest in crypto. What I'm investing in now, I mean, we're going to do a deep dive tomorrow on what's in your portfolio, and that's going to be at 9 a.m. Central Time. But I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, DOT, AdShare, Link, Litecoin. I'm adding in Casper, and I'm going to add in Mana for the gaming tokens. So I'm definitely going to be getting in there. Definitely going to be adding to that bag, but I'm still just buying blue chip cryptos right now. I'm not really buying much more than blue chip cryptos. Shout out to Joey V. Oh, and by the way, I also dropped Atom. I no longer have a position in Atom crypto. So just let you guys know. Shout out to Joey V, bro. Your net worth 5 million. Yet I think that's yet. And shout out to you, Joey V, for the follow. Really appreciate it. Currently, right now, with counting, because I have a lot in mortgage debt on my properties, not an overwhelming lot, but about a good 40% of the value is mortgage. I have about 14 million. If you want to go back on the view on the live on YouTube, that's about what I have, just shy of it, but it's going to be under it. I'm telling you right now, as soon as I plug in those crypto losses, and the stock losses, I will drop under it. So my net worth is going to tank in the next year. You're going to watch it tank, and it sucks because it's kind of gut wrenching when you see $1 million disappear out of your net worth. It's going to suck, and when you get to that level, it's like, oh man, it really sucks. But you got to take it with a grain of salt because it's just valuations at this point. Um, Shout out to Jovi again, bro. You're a legend. I'm just trying to share my experiences with you guys and show you that how to get to this wealth is not the same as what you think it is. Um it's not the same as what is portrayed. It's a tortoise game, slow and steady, slow and steady. Shout out to Applauser, H bar. I did have H bar in there for a while. It shot up to 9 cents, and I kind of panic sold and sold at 7 cents. But um I did know it wasn't in my long term holds. Shout out to Crypto Dream. Why is everyone dropping Atom? Really, for me, it's lost its ROI potential for me, and I see Dot being a better option. That's really that's really it. Shout out to Applauser. How were you able to start buying real estate? I bought real estate really just by I saw a house that we saw a duplex. I bought the duplex. I lived in one side and rented out the other. And then it was like 3 months later, I had more money from my moving company and more money from the rental property, and the equity shot up a little bit. So I was like, okay, well, I can afford to get another rental property. And at that time, I must have gotten really, 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 really lucky because this like 4 family home. It was really 5, but one had like the end unit, which was like a ranch style rental attached to townhomes, and kind of had a hole cut, like had a door attached to the townhouse rental. So what I did was I got that property. We closed off that wall, made that a 2 bedroom, made the other one two, like it was really like it was listed as a 3 bedroom, but one room was like 10 by 12 and had no closet. So it was really an office. So it was really a 2 bedroom. If there's a place to Instagram, Crypto Dream, it would be on Instagram under Salvatore Businessman, Salvatore underscore businessman. Or if you want to go to simply investing, click the link on YouTube there, buddy, and go excuse me, and go to the Facebook page. You can DM me there too if you want to chat more, because I'm about to go off live and see if this guy wants to do an interview or go home. But I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Um, Shout out to Cali X2. Great convo today. Got to get going. My son has a eye appointment and we're here. Oh, no problem, buddy. Glad to have you in here. Hope everything's well with your son and your family, Cali. You've definitely been a great supporter, and I hope we can link up sometime. And for a lot of you guys, I do a lot of traveling. I know one of you guys, he's watching. Hasn't really responded a lot, but we have been messaging on Facebook. If I ever get to New York City, I will, hit you up and let you know. We can go out to we'll go out and do kind of like a business dinner and kind of talk over things. And if you guys have a good idea for a business, and I'm also more than happy to sign NDA clauses. I can give you advice. If it's good enough and the risk is right, I might invest. Don't know, but that's still coming around. Um, Shout out to Callie. Glad you're back doing lives. Always enjoy them. Hey, glad that you enjoy them. Glad that everyone enjoys these. I hope we can spread the word and get more people in and get some really good conversations going. But kind of back to Applauser. Really, really appreciate that question because getting into real estate was pretty easy. But the first property, I had to prove that I was going to get a tenant to lend it out, and I used my business as a backing for that mortgage. So wouldn't recommend doing that because that put me under APY. But after that, what I did was I refinanced, took the equity out beginning of this year, which wasn't much. It was like 40,000 compared to everything else, and I put that money back into into another property. Now, my second property, I did same thing. I put 10% down, and I was able to get this property. Nobody was looking at it, and I was able to get 5 units right off the bat. And then that, like in 6 months, another 10 units was put on board. And then, like beginning of this year, it was like clockwork. Every month I was like adding on, and I still add on. Although right now I just haven't. I've seen a couple good buys. I just been outbid on them for what I'm willing to pay for them, especially with I'm seeing prices going down. Shout out to Cali X, who definitely call you for advice on income streams. Have a good day. Yeah, you too. Have a great day. And really appreciate you guys on here. Crypto Dream, we can definitely chat and DM now. If you want to do a Zoom call or anything in about 10 minutes, we can definitely do it. Hopefully you guys have any other questions. I'm more than happy to ask before we get going. I will have a video. I do want to say this, guys. I will have a video out about the flipping NJ debacle. I will have a video out on that. I do have a video coming out on TommyNet, which I will say I haven't made it yet, but I will be making. I will be investing into that crypto. Shout out to L Genti. I plan on getting into real estate after this bull run. Any advice? Excuse me. Sorry, I was just looking at a text coming in from one of my workers. You definitely want to diversify after this bull run, and real estate might be at a really good price at that time. Unfortunately, we're going to have high interest rates on fixed mortgages, but we're just going to have to deal with it. The best thing I could say is I don't know if you have a family or if you're single, but the best thing to do would be to get like a duplex or a triplex, try to get into those, live in one, rent out the other two. Or some people like shout out to that YouTuber Spencer Cornelia. He does what is called house hacking, which is really just you're turning each room into its own apartment with its own bathroom and locks and stuff like that. So I've seen people have great success with that, and you do get about $500 to $600 more rental income off of that stream. And it's good to do those in like college areas. I wouldn't recommend living in it, but with your tenants, but it's good in college areas. So if you have a big college like University of Arkansas or Rutgers or Drexel or whatever, one of those ones, those off-campus apartments get sucked up fast because I don't know what it is, just college kids like it. I can't argue. I lived in an off-campus apartment one semester and I loved it. So I can't say I can't see it. I understand it. But the cost now, it's like my off-campus apartment was $400 a month. Now it's like $1,200. I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. But getting into real estate is definitely good. Don't get into commercial real estate because with the economic downturn, this is going to last to 5 to 7 years, and commercial properties are going to be vacant for a while. And you don't want to go through a foreclosure process, especially if you're in the later years of your life. It's very hard to recover from. But if you do get some, just get some small time rental properties and get them in areas you understand. I would get them by where there's a lot of blue collar workers or a lot of middle class people. Good schools, good good attractions, park. Got good movie theater. You got great shopping around and easy access to long distance like train commutes, bus commutes for people who got to go to work, things like that. That's what I would do for you, Legenti. Definitely do that afterwards. Real estate is definitely a thing. Cody is getting into real estate after his bull run. I know that he will be definitely investing heavy into real estate. I do see a few more new people joining in. Really appreciate that. You're welcome, El Genti. I'm really happy to give any advice that I've learned or anything that, any of my pitfalls. I think I think next Saturday I will go over one of the things, one of my biggest pitfalls. I'm going to go over how I had an employee theft of $240,000 next Saturday. I think that'll be pretty cool for you guys. It was definitely one of my rough years, one of the roughest years I've ever had. So it kind of is what it is. Um, let's see here. I think I'm caught up on all the questions. Thank you, Yakanda. Thanks for the share. Really appreciate your support. Shout out to Legenti 250K. Is that your crypto portfolio? If it is, I mean, you're gonna be pretty set for the bull run. You'll probably have a bigger, will probably be about where I am right now in my crypto. If you're investing in the right ones, like if you got the meme lotto bag and that lotto bag goes off the chain, definitely want to make sure you get that. Divest out of crypto and get into real estate, and then after a couple years of that, I would say we want to get into, diversifying your income out into other business avenues if you're amicable to that. If not, then we could talk about investing in private equity after that, because then you should qualify for that. But in the meantime, um, let's just stay the course on there for you, Legendi. And I hope it all works out for you. I see Freedom Fighter joined. Welcome in. You've been with us since the beginning, too. Glad to have you in here. Let's see here. Any others? No, I think I'm all caught up on everything. So, Crypto Dream, I did get your message there, so we'll chat in just a second. As I go through and I start to end this live here. But man, I really appreciate your guys' support. Stay tuned. Tomorrow is going to be what's in your portfolio, and I'm going to go over, well, most likely a nice hefty six-figure loss. This is how things roll. Go over some of my positions, go over and things like that. Also, we will do the crypto morning news Monday through Friday it's going to be at 8 a.m. Central Time. The What's in Your Portfolio is 9 a.m. Central Time on Sunday. And then, of course, Wednesday, we are going to have State of the Market or State of the Economy every Wednesday night because Cody is free, as well as next Saturday, we'll kind of go over another one of my biggest L's in business. So, although this one today wasn't really an L, it was really what's up with the American dream. I'm going to bring this back again in another month, see if we get more people on. But really appreciate your guys' support. Really appreciate everything, that you guys do. And I really appreciate, just answering your questions. I enjoy answering your questions. I enjoy seeing other people succeed. I enjoy seeing you guys succeed at investing. And hopefully I can steer you clear of some of the pitfalls that a lot of people are falling into with investing. And some of those pitfalls are hard to recover from. But with that said, guys, thank you guys. Like and subscribe. Go link in the bio for YouTube if you want to check out and get the exclusive content that's coming on Patreon. You can definitely subscribe to Patreon. It will also help us get an editor, as I am terrible at editing. So, but I'm getting better. So we'll see. But I would definitely like to get that and kind of help give some income to Cody for contributing to this, because we are obviously, it's going to be a long time before we get monetized on this stuff. But that's not the main thing here. The main thing here is just let's have fun talking about investments. Protect the bag, steer clear of the pitfalls, hopefully steer clear of the scams, and we can, get to where we want to be. And as always, stay safe out there. Don't invest in anything you don't understand. Don't invest your life savings. Only invest what you're willing to lose. Thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live.